What is awakening of conscience and how to achieve it? As human beings, we have toiled a minuscule and insignificant portion of the life of the universe. In such a short period of time, we have learned to master universal laws, to develop technology, to cure disease, but we have also come to kill, to rob, to contaminate, to belittle, to lie, to steal, a long etc. of perversion and vices that are not tied to a divine purpose. Hello, welcome to Live Universe Mind, Vida Universo Mente. I'm Robinson Arevalo and I'm a holistic physical, emotional, and spiritual coach. I really appreciate your interest in learning with me to grow in consciousness, our passage through the air. As you can see in this video, we are going to talk about the awakening of conscience and why we are asleep. Stay a few minutes more and let's learn together. I ask you the favor of subscribing to this channel and liking this video as well as sharing it with your friends so that more of us will wake up. Currently, we are immersed in trivialities, material illusions, banalities that do nothing but keep us in them. It is time to wake up. It is time to be part of those people who are reaching a point where they are capable of breaking collective and inherent mental patterns that keep us human beings subject to suffering for hundreds of years. Since we arrive at this space-time reality, our mind is asleep and we can't spend our entire life asleep without understanding what life really consists of. And this is perfectly understandable since at birth our mind is in an alpha state. This state is waking but without concentration. We are always attuned to learning and suggesting ourselves. We are open to mental programming influences and changes. He insists on lethargy and stubborn numbness of our being. Each experience that we live creates a meaning, and this meaning can be relevant or irrelevant depending on the impact it has on us. While we are in the alpha state, we don't question anything and we take everything for granted. We say to ourselves, that's right, because that's what my mom or dad or grandma said, or that teacher at school. Either that is what society indicates that we should do or the church. Do the exercise. How many times before the age of 7 did you question any information that you have received? When I was little, I liked to eat paper. My mother always told me not to do it, that my belly was going to hurt. How I ignored him. He began to tell me that a paper tree was going to grow in my belly. I believed him, but that didn't scare me. I wanted to have a paper tree in my stomach. So I keep doing it until I realized that I didn't feel any tree growing in my belly. But if I had been scared or really sick, the impact would have been terrible for me because he really enjoyed eating paper. As was the case with my cousin, he licked his finger and was told that if they keep doing it, he would get worms. That didn't stop him from doing it until one day when he was sleeping, they put maggots on his finger, and when he woke up, he saw that. He never puts his finger in his mouth again, and I think worms is still disgusting him today. After 7 years, our mind goes to beta state. In this state, we can question everything. We can pay attention, decide what we like and what we don't. However, the main program have already been anchored in our subconscious. We already have an idea of who we are, what we are capable of, what is allowed and what is not. Some of us follow the role imposed on home and others to do opposite, seeking their own identity. In both cases, we are conditioned. In both cases, we are reacting to what we have been told, what they expect of us, and what we think is acceptable. We believe that we are that person, and we justify ourselves by saying, I'm so, and this is what I have to do. We go from one truth to another, justifying our suffering, blaming everyone for what happened to us. To awakening of conscience is to take responsibility for our own happiness. It is using our mind in a beta state to discern, observe ourselves, and make decisions that make us feel whole and at peace. Without competing, without comparing ourselves with others, understanding that each of the experiences we live are neither good nor bad. They simply are and mean wherever we want them to mean. And the most relevant thing is what we do with that experience. Do we grow and contribute with others? Or do we just make ourselves victims and fill ourselves with hatred and resentment? To awaken our conscience is to be spiritual, not religious spiritual. Spirituality explains the connection between human planet matter, etc., and the energy that creates God, source, Allah, universe, etc. When we understand that we are spiritually being living a human experience, we begin a search for recognition that leads us to understand the world and ourselves. When we come to that understanding is when awakening occurs. This process is individual and usually occurs after a deeply painful experience. That is why we can spend our entire life asleep, acting without thinking, without reflecting, judging, making judgment, competing, feeling helplessness and existential anguish. You don't have to go through a deeply painful experience to wake up, but it's usually the trigger that starts that search. However, the main requirement is to feel fed up with the life you are leading. When the situation is already untenable for you, you usually start the path of awakening. Reading books by the great initiates, studying Eastern philosophies and religions do not need, but they don't necessarily help you with awakening your consciousness. To do this, you must first understand your own psychology, reconcile yourself with your history, and then apply the principle of the great Eastern philosophies. Living according to its principle is what makes us grow and be the best version of ourselves. In my coaching practice, I apply spiritual principles to help people understand the path they are traveling. I help them reflect so that they know themselves and free themselves for the past, so that they can build a harmonious present and a promising future. When you understand your essence, it's no longer necessary to strive to achieve the result you are looking for. It will no longer be necessary for you to compare or judge yourself. Necessarily lead to awakening if they give you a lot of information. When you understand, you free yourself and everyone, and then your transformation occurs without giving up with your wishes or having to make sacrifices. It is only a matter of putting your mind, body, and soul in order, and everything else comes as a natural consequence. But beware, that does not mean that there will be no challenge. Even teachers like Paramahansa Yogananda, Gandhi, Buddha, Jesus of Nazareth, we are afraid and live painful experience that lead them to deep reflection, where they recover their energy to start over and thus live the message that they were destined to bequeath us. But don't worry, you don't have to go through tests like the masters. Each life is unique, and each one will live the situation according to their level of consciousness in order to wake up. In this life, there are no accidents of injustice. Everything has a deep reason for being, and that is the awakening of your conscience. I make a stop to remind you to like this video and to subscribe to this channel. I appreciate that you are with us learning to awaken our conscience. Are you ready to wake up? The awakening of consciousness is not a concept that can be understood intellectually. It is rather an experimental journey into the essence of your being, which allows you to discover who and what you really are. Despite this, today I will use the words to try to convey to you an idea of what the awakening of conscience means to me, based on what I am experiencing in my own process. And living is at I were being born again to life. After many years asleep, waking up is being like stopping, surviving to really start living. What is awakening? Awakening is a process of inner transformation in which you begin to become aware of yourself. And waking up is opening your eyes to the reality that has always been there, but you have never been able to see because of the distortion in your mind. Waking up is to stop being a slave of your mind and start listening to the messages of your soul, to become the owner and lord of your life. To wake up is to return to your essence and discover who you really are beyond all those labels with which you have been identifying. Awakening is a path of personal and continuous evolution toward your true identity, with only you can travel. Nobody else can do it for you. Waking up is a process of unlearning, of letting go, of trusting life, so that the truth can be expressed through you. Awakening is coming out of the light that you have created in your mind through your conditioned belief system to surrender to the truth. Waking up is living in the present, leaving the mental illusion about the past and the future, to surrender to the experience of life without filters, here and now. Waking up is to start resisting life, to start flowing with it. To wake it up is to stop being a slave of a strongly conditioned mental program that causes so much suffering. To discover reality and live in freedom. Waking up is recognizing that life does not happen to you, it happens for you, so that you grow, learn, and evolve, so that you discover who you are. To wake up is to realize that life is a game. It's a pure learning process, and that any situation that we label as a problem is only a necessary experience to grow and evolve. Waking up is to stop seeing yourself as a victim, to become the owner and creator of your life. Therein lies your power, your responsibility, and your freedom. Waking up is being authentic, being who you really are, and stopping playing a role influenced by what society, your family, environment, or your limiting belief have instilled in you. Waking up is recognizing the infinite potential that is in you, behind the limitation of your mind. Awakening is recognizing your spiritual essence behind your human experience. Waking up is to stop passing everything through the filter of the mind, to surrender to the intuition that guides you in the present moment. To wake up is to stop acting out of fear and the need for security of the mind, to start acting through love and the need for progress of the soul. Waking up is being present and leaving yourself to live the experience of life without conditions. Waking up is trusting life and recognizing that there is a higher intelligence called God, universe, energy, that guides and protects you. To wake up is to recognize yourself as one with life, which makes you feel infinite compassion and love. Waking up is recognizing that ignorance in your mind and realizing that what you think is just a point of view. It is not the truth. That way you stop identifying with your thoughts and defining them truth and name. Inside each one there is a sleeping giant. Miracles happen when the giant awakens. Frederick Fox. Thank you for watching Vida Universo Mente, Universe Mind Live. I'm Robinson Arevalo, and this is your channel. Subscribe, give it a like, and share this video with your friends. Comment on it. It's also very important for me grow to know your opinion or any form of life to the next time.